level.
Awesome. Thank you so much for the intro and the opportunity to speak with everyone today. It's truly exciting to be able to have a global platform in a virtual sense, even though we can't have physical virtual events. I think there's been great benefit in having a global digital platform. Um, Wanted to talk to a little bit to everyone about shaping our future with what we call next gen transformation. I think it goes without saying we've had a massive, massive period of huge change and in some aspects a lot of uncertainty over this last year. And the coronavirus pandemic is going to have some long, long lasting impacts across the globe. And the benefits of that, I'm a true believer that with adversity comes abundance of opportunity. And with that, I think without a doubt, what this has really forced a lot of organizations to do is rethink and reshape how they view their organizations, how they are organized, and how they can be more future ready and create a transformation wave or a digital transformation wave. It has kind of been set forth, and now there's a time to respond to it and be as proactive as possible. Some speakers earlier today talked about how we've demonstrated a lot of agility and proven that we can quickly adapt, and I think that's something that certainly was also a benefit of this. So with that, in shaping our future, one of the things that I wanted to talk a little bit about today is how does that start? How does reshaping and being more future ready, how does one organization embark on that type of transformation? I think the first key point is that shaping our businesses for the future really starts with a transformation mindset. And at the core of that mindset is keeping in mind our most strategic asset, regardless of what type of organization you are, which is your employee and your people. And so treating your employee as the North Star and having that at the core of your transformation mindset is a critical success factor. And the key here is that if you're really looking at building a future-ready business from based on strong connected concepts, the key here is that we need to look at investing and building stronger connections between our customers and their experiences, talent and technology, data and decision making, and inputs and outcomes. And if we think of the employees and we think of what we've just gone through, just in these few new critical moments that have emerged over the last few months, right? We'll have a few examples we'll talk through in the context of a concept of ESM or enterprise service management, where we can really think of the employee's journey and the things that they need to go through. And the idea here is how can we exploit the power of technology, unique insights available to us, artificial intelligence, and technology to really enhance the effectiveness, efficiency, and agility of not only the organization, but each individual within the organization, which ultimately will contribute to not only high performance, but productivity and improved outcomes overall. So imagine, if you will, that you and your organization had a single consumer grade digital experience when requesting and receiving corporate services. Imagine that you had a framework in place that focuses on employees and delivers fully connected, consistent, and high quality services that help you to improve and drive employee satisfaction and productivity. That you had this capability to link employees and business service owners and services anywhere, anytime that employees needed it. Imagine having a framework that allows business service owners to better understand which services your employees actually use and use the most in order to drive operational excellence while you can save time and money. And leverages a platform and a capability for workflow orchestration so that you can coexist in an architecture with key systems of record across your organization. If you think of, SAP or Oracle or Workday, and that you have a new age operating model for business services with a set of pre-built assets that help you scale across the enterprise your service delivery. This is what we mean by enterprise service management. So from our view, enterprise service management is a capability that helps you provide a consistent, streamlined experience from request to receipt of services. And this framework spans delivery, design, and management of all the different corporate services across the breadth of the enterprise, and essentially helps you create a borderless organization where people and technology can interact together for new levels of productivity and value creation. And at the heart of that really is thinking through how we can break down the different service silos and get rid of this notion where employees sometimes often have to act as service integrators, figuring out which different function they have to go through, and now have a seamless, effective, productive experience when they're accessing services across an organization. ESM in itself, I think, is a topic that has been around for a long time, but what we're talking about now is truly anchoring it in the employee in order to transform and future-proof an organization with respect to how they deliver services and keep their employees content. What does that mean for us? What does that mean if we think of it in a context of a new age of a service desk, for example? What does that mean for organizations that have different skill sets and different groups? Um, we talk about this through what we call moments that matter, or a journey that each individual go through. So the premise of enterprise service management is that we build an experience for our different employees through a collection of what we call moments that matter. And we have a hypothesis on what these moments of matter are, and that are most common and can have a lasting impact when the single pane of glass concept is applied. It helps you connect many existing source systems and calls on the system of engagement and system of record. And there's different layers that I'll take you through. But the key here is, if we take an example across the top, which you'll see, a common occurrence is a employee might have a visitor, for example, that comes on site. And that visitor comes on site, and we have to worry about making sure that they get a badge. We might have to go physically down to the security desk to get them their badge. In this new world, we might have to also go through a series of steps of screening before they can even arrive on site to make sure that they are not exhibiting symptoms of COVID, for example. There might be consent forms. There might be PPE we have to issue to them. They might need a parking spot. They might need guest Wi-Fi. And a lot of these different moments or journey points along the way are often segregated groups or activated through different functions. But imagine if that was a journey that was connected, where you could access a single digital platform on the front end, and you can build and say, I have a visitor coming, and it proactively asks you, what are all the different pieces and parts of that journey? Will this person need Wi-Fi? Will this person need a security badge? Will this person need a parking pass? Does this person need PPE issued, etc.? And you complete that through your digital experience, and all of the different connected workflows, systems, and different corporate functions are all connected and able to align all of those different capabilities together in a seamless experience. That's what we mean by a connected enterprise service management experience. And when we think of these, there's tons of moments that matter, whether it's through onboarding or offboarding, whether it's through maybe relocation of an employee. In this new age, right, we thought employee health checks and screening, whether it's around issuing workplace cleaning, there's tons of connected moments. So the thought process here is that at the very top, you've got your moments that matter, supported by a process layer. And the key here is that we need to be able to interact with our employees where they request the services, where they're needing information, where they have their questions and issues, where we can maybe provide even proactive notifications to them and help them along the way. And this is the essence of transforming what we often think of as the heart of the organization, or we think of a service desk, into a point of service that's beyond just a desk, beyond just an IT desk, but something that is tied to the complete journeys and the different moments that matter. The next layer, if you will, in this model really thinks through a digital interaction layer. We've all seen that a lot of service management tool sets and a lot of organizations have focused on a portal consumer-like experience, but there's still a lot of organizations that might have different portals. So I, as an employee or a user, have to know that I go to my IT portal to access IT-related requests or issues or services. I might need to go to an HR portal for my HR services. But this concept here is we provide a digital interaction layer with a consumer-grade experience that ties all of these together, and the function or that silo doesn't matter anymore, and that employee doesn't serve as that the system integrator, but they serve as just someone wanting to go through that journey, and they can type their search, they can go through that portal, and regardless of where in the organization their issue, their question is from, they're able to access that. Underneath that digital interaction layer is an orchestration and automation layer. So this is where I understand how I can orchestrate the services that were enacted so that we can get all of these things fulfilled, approved, measured, etc. And this is where we see that we might have multiple tools come into play here from an orchestration perspective, and ties into a little bit of the integration layer to help me execute those corporate functions. And so here I might rely on enterprise data and different systems of record. I might have other systems of record across different functions, and they all come together to help provide provide me with a connected experience and help fulfill those different moments that matter. And then along all of these different layers of the model, we have capabilities for intelligent automation, robotics, and virtual agents, things that help automate and orchestrate that connected experience that we're trying to put together, that journey for the employee. So that's the concept of the ESM framework, if you will. And I think what's interesting is taking this framework and understanding, what does this mean for me and where do I start this journey? And the key here, again, is anchoring on the agreement that if people are our most strategic asset, how can we redefine all of our different services to be employee-centric and focusing on the journey that they're going through? How do I inventory the different skill sets of the people that provide support functions across my organizations? And rather than knowing just my individual HR or IT or finance or legal matter, do I train all of these different employees that provided support in these different realms to understand the broader connected journey and being able to address anything across that entire journey map? So it's almost bringing together what could be siloed traditional service desk functions or service delivery centers or service support functions, and anchoring them on mapping and understanding a connected journey of different moments that matter from an employee experience perspective, and reshaping your support organization as a result. It's about adding not only more levels of automation, but how we can be proactive in understanding what moments might be upcoming that need something and connected together. So the concept, and again, I know that our last speaker talked a little bit about the ticketless service desk, and I think it's a very similar construct to say, is there a future where we see a enterprise service point as opposed to just a service desk? And that service point is a combination of people, orchestration, automation, robotics, intelligent automation, virtual agents that automate and orchestrate experiences or connected journeys, as opposed to just individual services that are centered around a particular function in a connected way. I think it's about looking at how we can map these journeys, prioritize them, bring together common data models. There's a wealth of opportunity here for us to truly think of how we can reshape and retransform our organization. So with that, I think we should have a few more minutes for any questions or thoughts from our audience.
Thanks for that, Farah. We don't have any questions at the moment, but if any come in, obviously you've got your email on screen, so anyone feel free to get in touch with Farah if they have any questions. Thank you so much for your time today. There was I'm a big fan of enterprise service management, so it was really interesting to hear your perspective on the model as a whole and how it filters through the organization.
Hey, wow, I can't believe here we are at the last one of the event. What an amazing thing to be doing, and thank you so much for having me on board, and thank you to Axelos and People Cert sponsoring this particular session. It's wonderful that they've done so, and following on from what a lot of people have talked about today too, the people component, it is definitely something that our organizations can never move away from. Our organizations are made up of a sea of souls, most definitely, and that's what makes everything move. And what we want to look at here today is how value, we talk a lot about value stream mapping and the journeys that people take. And one of the key elements that I've really focused on and discovered is how much empathy impacts the way or the value that people get out of the journeys that we do take during the organization. I love how Farah was talking about, you know, in terms of being future ready, needing that transformation mindset is very much about thinking closely about the impacts as people that we have